Hello, it's Andy Graham of the Ask Andy Show. I'm going to do a Blog Talk Radio, so you're going to get to see a little bit more than what the Blog Talk Radio people get to listen to, but I'm hoping this works. Oh, this is a long-distance phone call. Okay, I'm back. I had to go get a phone that I could use a calling card on. I have it programmed into this phone. I press 1, then I press 2. 1 dials the 800 number. I'm dialing the number, and then I have to dial a host PIN number. Don't help that I'm dyslexic. Hello, this is Andy Graham of the Ask Andy Show. Today, I'm a world traveler. I've traveled non-stop for, 16 plus years and been to 90 plus countries. I have a global knowledge of a lot of things. And I'm an expert traveler, and what happens here is I've been to, because I've traveled to 90 countries, I also lived in each country. You think about 16 plus years. Okay, today I want to talk about passports. A lot of people, this is my first episode, so bear with me, guys. I think there's a guest telephone number to call in, but I don't know how it works. Okay, what you have is Americans have a blue passport, and I have actually 3 in my hand. So, first things first, when you're trying to figure out how to apply to get a passport, it's relatively confusing, okay? And the reason why it's confusing is because everybody's got an opinion. So what I did today, I thought, well, I just got a new passport, but I got mine in Togo, West Africa, so it's not something you're really going to do. But I went to the American Embassy there, and they took 2 weeks, and it was real simple. But it probably simpler to do outside the country than inside the country. But today I was doing some research on this topic because things change. In the past, we used to be able to get take our driver's license and go to Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean. And a lot of people got really upset. Now, about a year ago, after as a result probably of 9/11, September 11th. 9/11, there probably was there was a need for more security, because terrorists could come into Mexico and just cross over the border too easily. So, they did. But what was interesting now is, and I'm thinking it's going to happen, is now that we're now required to have a passport to go to the Caribbean, Mexico, and Canada. But they also issue this little card that you can get along with your passport. It looks like an identification card, so you don't have to carry your passport all the time. And I think you can go to most of these. But being that you should never rely on me or anybody, what I did is I thought, who can I rely on? So what I did is I went to about.com, and I recommend it's about.com, and then just write, search on Google passport. About.com. They had two different pages, kind of one for adults and one for students. But it also addresses the issue of how to it talks about what do you call it, the Canada-Mexico problem. Okay, so this phone is really uncomfortable to hold. Okay, so you got this page, about.com, and they're going to keep it updated. And this is a huge problem on the internet, is anything to do with visas, passports, anything. They have pages up there. I have pages that were put up there over 12 years ago, 13 years ago, that are still there. And so they might show up in your search thing and it could be wildly out of date. So you really, if you're going to do anything to do with visas or whatever, and then also on visas and passports, you got all these people trying to sell you things. Okay, so the only one I know that is really safe to get on is about.com. And I got on it and explained that you could probably get an application form you can get an application form at any post office, I believe. And then it showed you a link where you could get a list of places where you could submit your passport. You're going to have like 4 passport photos. That's got to have a white background. I mean, really important on the color of the background of the photo. I kind of had a blue tint of mine when I was in Togo, and luckily it loaded. And at the place where I was at the embassy, what was really nice is they tested the photo, made sure everything was working perfect, and submitted it like digitally. So it was really a little bit better service going to an embassy outside the United States. Took 2 weeks though to wait. I had to wait and then come back. But here I think you're going to send the whole package, whatever. Now, I use abriggs.com as a visa to get visas. So I get paid nothing for this, but in a way, if you're really confused, you can get on abriggs.com, and I will try to put that link in the website, okay? And I'll put it on the YouTube video. If you search for YouTube, Hobo Traveler, maybe 2 words, Andy, you'll find my channel, okay? And I'll have this also in a video fashion. Okay, so you're going to need, it's going to cost you, they raised the price. When I first applied for a passport 10 years ago or 15 years ago, it was about $40. And then you can pay an extra amount of money for an expedited one. And what's great about this is, but right now if you get a passport, it's going to cost you, I think, $125 roughly. Better check on that, something like that, $125. It's not cheap, but it's for 10 years, and it's a perfect form of identification if you're worried about identification, because it's much better than a driver's license, because it's been validated. But I think you got to have a birth certificate. But there's a checklist on this about.com page, so just go follow that. I don't want to get really big in detail on that, but it's real important that you follow the instructions. So really, don't listen to me, follow the instructions. But this is my passport. This is the passport that just had 9 years on it. What they did when I was in Togo at the time, so what they do is they put a little punch hole through the thing to make sure that it's no longer of any value, but they actually left the page for Togo unpunched. So when when you get a new passport, they'll often punch a hole. You actually can also apply for 2 passports. What a lot of people don't know is it's possible to have 2 passports. One time I got it because my idea was I was going to send a passport to like Briggs or whatever, and have them do the visa application. Then I'd travel on one passport while they did the thing. The problem came up is the DHL and FedEx and UPS and all these companies really don't want you to send passports. So there's always a possibility they confiscate it. So I've never done it. I've never been brave enough, but I'm sure people have done it. This is my new passport. Okay, when you get a passport, it's going to have your photo in it, and there's 2 different sizes of passports. Okay, and I think it's exactly the same cost, but you can get a passport that is. Yeah, probably better look. How long's left on this thing? Should have a little sign up there, right? I would think it would say ending in X amount of minutes. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, so this is your passport. Let's get it. I got the extra large one. I think it's like 54 pages or something like that. You must apply for that, because look, if one of my passports right now has, it's about half an inch thick, and the other one's real skinny, right? But the point is, every time you add pages to your passport, it's going to cost you $80. The reason why I got a new passport right now is the lady said, hey, for another $20, $40, $30 or whatever, you can get a new passport and not pay just $80, but now you got 54 pages. So it was a good alternative. I mean, instead of getting extra pages for a passport that only had like 1 year in. When you get to the point ever where there's not 2 pages open, a lot of visas can be for 2 pages, and so you always need to have 2 open pages on your passport. So when you're giving your passport to somebody, try to get them to stamp on the same page or close to the same page, and don't just take open pages and stamp, because a full page or 2 pages is always needed. And when you get to the point where you don't have even 1 page or 2 pages, you better be getting to an embassy outside the United States or in America, wherever, and getting extra pages put into your passport. These things cost $80. Okay, one thing that I really want you to focus on, this is of critical importance. Inside every passport is a personal data and emergency contact information. You should fill this page out. And you probably, if it changes, you could probably just take a piece of paper and tape it over the thing. Taping inside your passport, doing things like that, they're very, very durable. The material is like better than money. It's kind of like the same paper as money. It just does it. My mom actually ran it through a wash machine one time, and I used it for another 5 years. This old one I have here. Okay, fill out this page and then make sure it's current all the time. But it's just to have your name on you. If you have your full name and your address, they can track you down. What happens is that the American embassy, like I had my passport stolen one time in Madrid. Pickpockets. Europe's real dangerous for pickpockets and things like that. And I had a new passport within a day. And what was interesting, when I went in there, I didn't even hardly need identification, because I just told them my name, and they pulled up the application with a picture of my photo, and it was like on the screen, and they could see that I was really who I was. So you think, well, I have no identification to get my new passport, but you do, because they have it on their screen, a photo of you. And Americans are lucky. There's an embassy in most every country. Okay, so these are your main situations with passport. I never ever carry the passport with me, and the only place I've ever carried the passport was in Panama, because some reason in Panama all the police would check you to see if you had a passport on you. I carried the passport between destinations, so when I'm any type of transport, I'm going to carry it on my body. I don't pack it away. I don't do anything. I have to carry it on my body in one of my secret pockets. I have these special secret pockets that I put in my travel pants, and I put my passport inside it. And you do get that, going down the road, you will get, somebody will check your passport quite often. But as far as just walking around in a town, very, very seldom. One time in Ghana, West Africa, they came and checked me, and I even walked them back to the hotel and showed them my passport. But the best thing to do is, there's a way of taking a passport, and you can actually take it to like probably Staples or something, and you can take the passport page and you reduce it, and on one side you put the picture, your page with your picture, and the other side you put the data and stuff, and you make it into a little card just like they will give you. But this is just and then put it in lamination and make it into a nice little, I don't know what you want to call it, a nice little something that doesn't get destroyed. I actually, in the bottom of my day bag, I always have like extra passport, a copy of my extra passport. Passports are valuable in a way. They're not as valuable as they used to be. When I was in Colombia like 10 years ago, people were offering to give you $1,000 for your passport. It's so computerized now that they got to scan them through and they go across borders, and the minute that somebody steals it and you report it, it's going to do it. But that's not to say they still don't want them. But if you have a passport, what you want to do is always, you want to not destroy it. One of the reasons why I don't carry it on me is because the lamination on my picture page started wearing off when I was wearing it too much, and when you're crossing borders, they really don't like this because it looks like you took it off and somebody put a new photo, and they did. So you got to be real careful with this passport. Any kind of damage can start to make it invalidate the thing, right? So that's the reason why I don't carry it. But I do sometimes carry it in a Ziploc bag. Be careful though. Inside the Ziploc bag, it will start to mold. Okay, I learned the hard way that it started to have mold on the inside. So you really, it's a piece of, it's your identification. It's all you need is a passport and an ATM card, and you can take off to travel the planet. That's the minimum. Okay. One of the things I should tell you before I forget about it, if a policeman comes up and asks you for your passport, well, first of all, if you see a policeman anywhere on the planet, including America, try to walk on the other side of the street, because if you're a foreigner and they recognize you're foreign, they want your identification. This is the way it works. Not so much in America on corruption, but in Mexico and many places, they'll take your passport and then they'll start hee-hawing around, and they're going to want a bribe. Okay, so the minute they get their passport, they can hold you hostage. A man, Joe, I was just in Dominican Republic, very corrupt country, one of the worst on the planet, and they took the guy to the police station, the day before he was to get on his plane. And they take your passport, they take your identification, they can basically hold you hostage, and they want money. This is a very common way to get a bribe. So what you want to do is really what you want to do is get a color copier and then get it reduced to get your passport onto a little card-like thing and hand them the card. It looks pretty real, and feed them a line of crap and just never give them your passport because they will hold it. Now, I do give my passport at checks. When you're going on a checkpoint, going down the road, and the bus stops, and the policeman walks up with his UK-7, his machine gun or whatever, and he's checking everybody, I hand him my passport. What's good about being American is they usually smile when if I figure out I'm American. Okay, it's not contrary to what you think. It's everybody's wanting to come to America. That's the dream country. So having an American passport is a gift. It's a lucky thing for me, and I'm very happy that I have one. Okay, I'm sure I forgot some things on passports, and you're welcome to write me at hoboontheroad@yahoo.com, hoboontheroad@yahoo.com, and I will make another video, make another Blog Talk show. Soon you'll be able to call into Blog Talk Radio and ask me questions, and so I'll be fielding questions. I don't know if anybody out there is listening, because this is the very first show of Blog Talk Radio, but I've been to I've traveled non-stop for 16 plus years and went to 90 plus countries. Pretty soon I'll be in Vicabamba, Ecuador, and I'll still be on trying to do the Blog Talk Radio. I'm going to go to a more sophisticated version of Blog Talk Radio when I get to Ecuador, because strangely I think people think I stopped traveling because I'm in America, but I just came home because my father died. And we're having a celebration of life on the May 18th. And I was very proud to have a very good mother and father. Very proud to be American. Well, thank you very much, and have a good day. I'm going to figure out the number that you're supposed to call in on this, and somehow, I guess you can, when I start these shows, what I have is a tweet, a Facebook, and a Blog Talk Radio thing that sends out a notification to you that I've gone online. Okay, so I basically pushed the button and sent it, but that doesn't mean it reacted. Maybe I should send it 15 minutes before. I don't know, but one of these ways we'll figure this out. We'll work it out together. Let's see, anything to know about passports I didn't tell you? One of these days I'll start taking notes. I really probably do better with fielding questions because I can answer all your questions, but I'm always going to leave something out if I don't take really good notes, right? Okay, thank you very much. I will shut this off on Blog Talk Radio, and then I'll shut the video off. Gonna have to find a better way for a telephone microphone. Yes, I'm sure.